catch the movers and shakers. The brightest minds from across the country talking about what makes them tick. This is Rock the Talk on IndigoMusic.com.
All right, welcome back to IndigoMusic.com and time for yet another edition of Rock the Talk. And with me today is an experienced cricket correspondent with a career spanning over 2 decades. And he also authored 2 books. And one is Rahul Dravid, a biography, and the other one, Casting a Spell, the story of Karnataka cricket. I have Vedam Jaishankar on the other side. This is Rock the Talk, of course, where we talk to the who's who in the city. Vedam, thank you so much for joining me on Rock the Talk.
Thank you very much. It's a great pleasure being here. I've done 2 books and I've just released my 3rd book. That's, of course, Courage, Conviction, Controversy and Cricket.
Yes, exactly. We will be talking about the 3rd book as well. And you just named it. You have a thing for long names, don't you?
That's a nice way of putting it, but really, actually, we just once again, I'll get off this phone.
Yeah.
Actually, what happened was we were rolling names coming out of the mouth, and then we said, okay, let's start with controversy, and then
right.
Some of that, the courage, conviction, controversy in cricket rang out better. That's how we stuck to it.
Yeah, and it's always nice to have a little bit of controversy in a book. Also tell me, Vedam, before we get down to this 3rd book of yours, tell me about when your fascination with cricket really began.
Well, it began a long time ago, basically because, maybe when we were kids. And as you probably know, at least not your age, but people like me didn't have television and other things. So.
Right.
Most of it was radio commentary, but otherwise I played the game at right from a very young age. I went through formal training, formal coaching. K.K.
Right.
Tarapo was my coach.
Right.
Played for the school, college, etc. So I think the game has been a passion right through, and many of my contemporaries, people whom I played with in my school and college team, like Sadanand Vishwanath, Rajat Kanvilkar, Carlton Saldana, Jeshwant, went on to represent the state and even the country.
Wow, that's amazing. And also, you've been in touch with the game for many years now. You've been a cricket journalist. You work for many newspapers. You've written a lot of short articles for years, and now you're writing books. And so, when did you decide to, go to the longer format of writing about cricket rather than the shorter?
No, not really, because I wrote the book on Rahul Dravid maybe in the early 2000s when I was still very much engaged as a journalist. And I've been covering cricket for more than 3 decades, going all over the world. And after a bit, it gets on to you, because immediately after college is when the travel started, not just around the world, also around India. And so I decided, okay, let me get out of this mainstream journalism and move into a whole lot of other things.
All right, lovely. And tell us about this 3rd book of yours, Courage, Conviction, Controversy and Cricket. Give us whatever you can reveal, maybe even some of the controversies in the book.
Okay. No, actually, the original idea that the publishers came out with was to write a book only on controversies, because they obviously said that controversies sell. But there's also a downside to it, and that is it would make it a very dark book. And when I looked at it, I'm not that sort of a writer who would really relish writing a lot of controversy. So I said, no, let's not do this dark book, because any sport, not just cricket, whether it's football or any sport, is also a lot about ups and downs, a lot about people fighting the odds and coming up trumps. And there's a lot of courage in it, a lot of conviction in it. So any sport is that. I said, let's reflect all these things. And people also like feel-good stories. They also like about courage. They also like to read about conviction. And of course, controversy inevitably sells. But if you look at cricket controversy, some of the major cricket controversies have actually led to a change in the laws of the game, or the protocol of the game, or the format of the game, which I think is very good. If I may add, controversies when it happened looked terrible, but over a period of time, actually controversies were good for the evolution of the game.
Right. And also this book is broken down into 4 different chapters, 4 different stories.
No,
40 different chapters and 40 different stories, right?
Yeah. See, what happens is I look at it this way, and I may be right, I may be wrong, but my personal view is as we've had a lot of information overload, what we are really suffering from is the shortage of attention span. Our attention spans are becoming shorter and shorter. So if I write a 400-page book, with one single thread running from page 1 to the 400th page, there are not too many people who have that kind of an attention span today to read. Like I said, there's a lot of information overload, but the downside is there's a lot of, the attention span has gone down. So I decided to write a book. It's more like 40 short stories put together,
Okay.
So you can start with the first chapter or the 18th chapter or the 20th chapter. You can start from any chapter and read any chapter, whatever suits your interest. Like I said, it's like 45 short stories put together, but each of it is iconic. The thing is, I had about 250 controversies and other things to choose from, and I whittled it down to this 40. So my thing is, each of it is iconic, and you can go according to that.
All right. So these stories about, different kind of stories related to cricket matches, cricket, a lot of incidents that have happened over the years. Would you like to name some of these incidents if you can?
Yes, they are some of the biggest incidents that have happened in the cricketing world, right from Don Bradman's body line, and it goes right up to match fixing. It goes to ball tampering. It goes to Sourav Ganguly and Greg Chappell, the spat that they had together, and a whole lot of things, controversies and instances. It also talks about courage, the courage of a guy like Chandrasekhar with his polio-affected hand. He went and played cricket at the highest level. Then, of course, there's Nawab of Pataudi. That's another great story of courage. With one eye, he played cricket. And there's a lovely line in the book, actually, where Ian Chappell says, you try and close one eye and try to take a catch a ball with one eye closed, and you'll understand how difficult it is. And here's a man who played with just one eye and played cricket at the highest level. So it's an amazing story of courage. And when you look at the conviction side, there's also a lot of conviction in it. The classic conviction that, one of the convictions that I put out is Rahul Dravid declaring the innings closed against Pakistan in Pakistan with Sachin Tendulkar batting on 194.
Right.
You needed a lot of courage of conviction to do that. And I think Dravid's personal integrity was so high that he could declare, and no aspersions were cast on him. And that's the kind of integrity he brought into the game, and that's the kind of courage of conviction he had. And look, at the end of the day, what happened? For the first time in the history of Indian cricket, after 50 long years, India won a test match in Pakistan.
Absolutely.
Absolutely fantastic.
Well, I mean, you can also say Rahul Dravid may not have had to do that if Sachin Tendulkar will not be getting to his centuries and double centuries with singles. But again, there's controversy right here in this conversation. I said that. But all right. You also need to tell me about, these cricket has changed over the years. Like, I mean, you've been covering it for many years now. The passion that, say, a fan had when it came to an India-Pakistan game or an India-Australia match back in the day was a lot more than what it is today. So why do you think that has happened? Is it because, again, is it too much cricket, too much of T20s being played, and so people just don't have that same passion anymore? What do you think happened?
No, I think actually there's a lot of passion. Maybe there's not enough passion for the longer version of the game. People don't have the...
Yeah, I'm talking about the test matches. I'm talking about the test matches, which really had, in the 90s, I remember when people used to, when there was an India-Pakistan test match, which happened, I think, in 1999. I mean, the environment was very different from what it is, say, maybe like 5 years ago. So,
the early stages of my career, I was covering Ranji Trophy matches also, which had an audience of 20-25,000. Can you imagine? 20-25,000 for Ranji Trophy matches, and this is paid spectators, not free, paid spectators. So I think it's an evolution the game is going through, and a whole lot of other sports are also going through this kind of an evolution. People want things, a lot of action-packed stuff to be shorter, but the genuine cricket fan, the one who enjoys test cricket, is still going to the test matches. But like you said, there's not enough of them basically because, it's a fast world. There's so many other things to do. It was not
Right.
like earlier when you had nothing to do, but here you are competing. Cricket is competing with a whole lot of other entertainments. You can see
Right.
world-class football on television. The whole lot of things. So it's a challenge.
Yeah, it's definitely a challenge. Also, the IPL now is being played without crowds. It's being played in the UAE. What are your thoughts on cricket being played without the crowd?
See, that's the funny aspect of it. If you really look at world sports, there's golf being played without spectators. There's football being played without spectators. The entire NBA is being played in Disneyland without spectators. And of course, cricket is following suit. What has happened is the amount of money that is coming into sport through television and pay-per-view and a whole lot of other mediums is so huge that spectators actually contribute a very minuscule amount of the money, very minuscule, virtually negligible. So all sports, virtually, the top sports, are willing to play without spectators, and they're pulling it off very well. I wouldn't blame them. But let's look at the downside of it. You want spectators to be there. Some of the performances are enhanced.
The players would want spectators to be there.
Absolutely. Yeah. The performances are enhanced when there are spectators cheering them and egging them on. I think that kind of atmosphere is quite sadly lacking. All sports. I'm not talking about just cricket, but it's lacking in all sports.
All right. And any word on, would like to have you speak a few words on Dhoni's retirement this year and your thoughts on how he went about it.
Yeah, see, had the World Cup, that is World T20, been played on schedule, it had been played as per schedule, it would have taken place now in October 2020 in Australia. But that didn't happen because of COVID and other problems. Once that didn't happen and that got pushed away, there was nothing that Dhoni had playing for him. There's no guarantee that he, without playing any cricket, he would be ready next year. The idea was he would play a whole lot of IPL during the summer and then get ready for the World T20. The IPL didn't happen in summer and the World T20 got pushed by another year. So I don't think he would have been fit or as good a year later. And I think it was a right call for him. Whether this is a conventional way of quitting or not, I wouldn't know. But then Dhoni has always been like this. And it's made big news. But we'll miss him.
All right. And just coming back to your book, Vedam, if somebody wants to get their hands on it, how do they go about doing that?
Actually, the books are widely available in all the bookstores and also on Amazon. Amazon are the publishers. So Amazon.in, if you go searching for it, you definitely get it. And it's widely available. It's there in all the major bookstores right across the country. The only sad part is the railways are not functioning. Otherwise, railway station bookstores also would have a lot of the book, a lot of sales in that outlet. But that's not happening. But otherwise, it's available in all the bookstores. And of course, like I said, Amazon.in.
All right, lovely. And Vedam, now we have a rapid fire round with you. All right, so quick questions and quick answers. And so, are you ready?
Sure, go ahead.
All right, one cricketer you could, go on writing about, like, for months together.
For months together. See, let's put it this way. I admire G.R. Vishwanath.
All right. One cricketing spectacle that stands out for you. You have to think about this one.
No, it's not that. If I look at the negative connotation of it, it's definitely match fixing. If I look at the negative, I don't know whether you're asking me with a negative connotation or the positive.
No, it could be anything. It could be whatever you feel that really stands out. Yeah.
I think what really stands out positively, if you look at it, I think is Virat Kohli's aggression. It's unbelievable. And every single cricketer today in India, believe me, every single cricketer at the junior level, at the intermediate level, wants to be a Virat Kohli.
Absolutely. One favorite cricketing venue in the world for you?
I don't know. I would like to say Chinnaswamy Stadium because it's a compact, intimate stadium. So that's a great stadium. But among the real good stadiums that I've visited, I think, or covered cricket in, I think the Wanderers is absolutely brilliant. So too is Lord's or Queen's Park Oval.
A match result that you would actually like to change?
Well, India at the World Cup last year, definitely. And I think we should have won and moved on to the final.
What about England versus New Zealand in the final, though?
Yeah, if India had won, they wouldn't have been there.
They wouldn't have been there, but that was really a final that I think a lot of people thought that the result was.
I agree with you.
All right, and what has the game of cricket taught you personally?
Well, cricket is a lot about values. Cricket really is about a lot about values, the ups and downs. You learn how to take it. Everybody can take a victory, but the way you take a defeat, you take a knock and come back. You take a knock and come back, and I think that's great. It teaches you a lot about resilience, and that resilience is a great value lesson.
All right. And a couple of years ago, there was this huge debate on the best batsman in the world between Virat Kohli, Steve Smith, and Joe Root. Who, according to you, will be the top three best batsmen in the world right now?
I'm not sure if Joe Root is still there in the running. I would put Virat Kohli, Steve Smith, virtually they are the top two. And of course, the New Zealander Kane Williamson. These three are definitely the top three batsmen in the world. There's no doubt about it.
All right. And the most exciting cricketer, according to you, I'm going to give you three names. You just have to choose one amongst the three. A.B. de Villiers, Virender Sehwag, or Brendan McCullum.
I would say A.B. de Villiers.
A.B. de Villiers.
Yeah, A.B. de Villiers. I've never seen anybody bat the way he has. He's Mr. 360 degrees.
He truly is a freak of nature. And also, Indian cricket, of course, is really looking forward to someone being the successor to MS Dhoni. So, who do you think is going to get that spot?
That's a very, very difficult question that you've asked, because we don't have that many good wicket keepers. I blame it on the weather, because when it's hot, like the Indian climate is, then you don't take injuries as badly. Because if it's in a cold countries, if you have a finger injury, then you're laid down for a long time. But having said that, I think KL Rahul is a front runner. Okay. He could do the role that Dhoni is doing. There's also this Andhra wicketkeeper KS Bharat, who definitely needs to get a look in sooner or later.
Exciting for sure. All right. Three players you think will have a great IPL this season?
I think Jafra Archer would have a great IPL. I think the spinners would see. I chose Jafra Archer because the pitches will not help pace. The pitches will help spinners, but I think he will buck the trend. I also think among the spinners, the Afghanistan spinner Rashid Khan will have a great IPL. Maybe somebody like Virat Kohli, because I think being out of the game for 5 to 6 months, he must be really, really hungry. And I won't be surprised if he's batting for 2 to 3 hours every day right now to get that touch back.
And if we all know one thing, we know that Virat Kohli always comes prepared. That is for sure. He's got a fantastic work ethic. And finally, any favorite teams that you think is going to win the title this year?
I think Kings 11 Punjab is a very good side, because they got some outstanding cricketers. They've got depth, and they've got. One of the cricketers I'd really like to see who comes good is a Karnataka youngster, Padikkal, the left-hand opening batsman. Because what I've seen in the last 1.5 years that he has made his debut, he's hardly 19 or just 20. He has come good instantly at every level of cricket, which is unbelievable. It's really very rare for somebody to come good. This is his first IPL. So if he comes good in his very first IPL against this class of bowling and fielding, then I think that guy is one of the stars to watch out for.
All right, lovely. That's a name that I think a lot of us should remember. Also, why did you tell us why should somebody pick up this book?
See, the book is actually written with both the uninitiated into cricket or a beginner into cricket and a very good experienced cricketer also in mind. Because like I said, all the instances are iconic instances, and many may not connect with it, but when you read the book and go through it, you will understand why the laws of the game have changed, or why the protocol of the game has changed, or why the formats of the game has changed. Something like Kerry Packer, which was such a big controversy. Look at the beauty of Kerry Packer's cricket after now. He gave us colored clothing, he gave us white balls, he gave us day-night cricket, he gave us inner circle and outer circle, and drop-in pitches. So many things. So that way, the whole book is with a lot of iconic instances which went on to improve the game. And in the evolution of the game, you really see the beauty of these controversies, courage, and conviction.
All right. And talking about the evolution of the game, is there really, we've come forward with many things, with many ways. The rules have changed. Why are we not changing the Duckworth-Lewis method of deciding matches? Do you think that there could be another way to do that?
See, that's a loaded question you're asking me, and I'll really tell you what has happened. There was the Duckworth-Lewis method that it's now. I think they added that stain name also. But the Duckworth-Lewis method that they came up with, there was a Kerala mathematician, Jayachandran, who pointed out a lot of flaws in it. And he gave his method. So I think the right thing would have been to choose one of the two methods and junk whatever was bad. But what they did was they handed over the Jayachandran method to the Duckworth-Lewis guys, and they incorporated a lot of what his ideas were. And I think that, as far as I'm concerned, that was very unethical. They shouldn't have done that. They should have chosen one of the two. But I think there was a lot of bias involved at that stage.
Thank you so much, Mr. Vedam Jaishankar, for joining us today on Rock the Talk, and all the very best for your new book, Courage, Conviction, Controversy, and Cricket. Thank you so much for talking to us.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Well, that was Vedam Jaishankar talking cricket, and it's always fun to catch up on cricket every once in a while. This was Rock the Talk. Hope you enjoyed it. And for more such fun conversations, you know what to do. Stay right here, indigomusic.com.